I will say, though, that my biggest issue with Dota in general, in terms of commentary, is at times I don't think we're harsh enough. I feel like it's almost like we're too vanilla in that sense. Like every single time a TI rolls around, people say like, oh, something's wrong with the panel. And what I started to put together is that we all say the same things and we all just agree with each other because in especially our community, we don't want... It's really weird. For me anyways, I'm a huge sports fan. So when I see Shaq like do the Shaq-ting a full thing, I think that shit's hilarious. But if you were ever to do that in Dota, you'd be instantly vilified. And so like what I'm known for is being the most vanilla person in the world. I got like a shout out thread on Reddit that had like 2,000 upvotes because it's like, Blitz, thank you for not criticizing any player. And I was like, damn. That was actually like, that was the thing. And at the same time, like I started to realize like, it's not that fun when you're not willing to take any side, when you're just always in the middle. Like, sure, you're going to be liked, but it doesn't lead to entertaining broadcast whatsoever.
It's not as good a show, is it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, I started to realize that after that. I was like, I felt really good for a second. I was like, people really like my casting. And then I was like, well, at the same time, like, it's because I don't upset anybody. It's super vanilla and bland. And so even if they like you, they don't love you. And you know, it's not that they don't dislike you; they don't hate you. You're in the middle, and it's very boring.
I was going to go back to
you. Keep going.
Yeah, I was just going to say is that's I've been asked the question many times, and I'm sure you guys as well have also received this question. You know, how does someone make it? How does someone come up as a commentator in the industry? And we're all in this like very unique position insofar as we had great timing from many respects, and we're able to cement ourselves as the original cast. It's like the cast, you know, the fighting game character cast. You know, no one can replace Ken or Ryu or whatever from Street Fighter. You're always going to be there until the end. So that's kind of like where we fit within our respective spaces within esports. So and to come up now into the space which is so highly saturated, I think I don't even know necessarily what the answer is to doing it, because the way that we did it was like you have to just stand out immediately. Now you have to have a lot of personality immediately. You have to have a lot of knowledge immediately. You have to have a lot of integrity from a competitive perspective immediately for people to take you seriously. And I think that's really hard to get across.
Okay. Well, in that case, I think, Dan, that actually in the Street Fighter cast, I think James would be Dalsim, because some of his analogies are a fucking reach, mate. He goes way too far, and some of them trying to make them land. They don't all land that way, do they?
Yeah. I've heard that Energy, I've heard that Splice are all making twice as much, if not more, than Cloud9. CLG's up there, right around twice as much.
Yeah, I would say twice as much, maybe a little.
Then can't we solve the problem? I've told you already that I don't want Shroud to be kicked out of C9 and never be able to play. I just want him to play where he deserves to play, on NRG, for twice the money. I just want to bring together people's dreams. Shroud, I want to get you paid, baby.
Yeah.
And you're never going to qualify for any tournaments to go to LAN, so lots of streaming hours.
Oh, I know.
And they're all shit. And Daps, Canadian, like you, likes moose, likes maple syrup, likes being quiet, saying sorry and shit in the bed. Likes non-aggression.
Likes
that
Justin
sounds like likes Justin Trudeau, likes Justin Timberlake, but that's just irrelevant. The thing that triggers me always is food, you know. If the food's just pure as shit, I always go fucking mad at everyone. Some people, it's the hotel. Anders, for example, goes mad if like the hotel room's not very good or there's any noise whatsoever outside his lordship's room, you know. Everyone has their own. Semler, if in fact 20-minute smoke breaks don't fit into 5-minute breaks before a television show goes live with no possibility to stop. The amount of times, Moses, that I saw Semler run past our analyst desk to the E-League commentary desk, a show which cannot be delayed. Like, you can't just throw like a Twitch screen up for like another 10 minutes. He's just running past when they like told him like, yeah, live in 2 minutes. Like,
it's because you have to take the elevator at E-League. So Semler was like, oh, I've got plenty of fucking time. And then he gets back to the elevator and it takes an extra 5 minutes to actually get to him and open up the door. And he's like, oh, fuck, I'm late for the show. Shit.
You know Semler in the, because I know you've read this novel, in the famous classic sci-fi novel Dune, in the first book they introduced this thing called the Litany Against Fear, and the idea is, you know, if you're ever in a scenario where you're being tortured or something, you know, you say this little mantra that's about how fear, you know, is like not like a real thing, it's just something to do with your mind, and the whole point of why you say it, you know, is to get yourself through whatever that scenario is. Like what Yanko just said there, that line of like, it's all right, just get through the day, we still get paid to serve at the end. That is what every like talent person just has running in the back of their mind when some guy comes in and it's like, you know, 14-3 in the score, but they've just swapped to like CT side of Nuke, and then the guy's going, "Can you please go to the desk now? The game could end now." You're like, "Well, it's not though, because they've just got money and the other team's saving. But if you could just go to the desk now, please, and set up at the desk." No, but you don't understand. This team's really good on CT side, and the other team's bad on T side. But if you could go to the director's asking you to come to the desk now. It's like, if you're like, you have to understand. I know I'm considered like a bit of a BM person, you know, a bit like unreasonable and that stuff.
Really?
I went about 20 events still going to the desk and going, "Come on, guys, we better go to the desk." It wasn't until then that I started coming up with my own versions of like, "Well, tell that fucking director to come out here right now and tell me," you know, like, because eventually you just get, there's too many times you've gone to a desk and stood through like quadruple overtime and a massive comeback that eventually you're just like, "Listen, homie, like they could actually be shooting me in real life and I'm not going to the desk until this fucking game ends." Like, it's not happening.
You can't just look at every single new player in that jaded way that players do. You have to at some point accept that there is a player that shows promise and see if you can bring those skill sets into your team and utilize them properly. But none of the players want to do that at the moment. None of the players want to.
You know, older teams always use that terminology of like NIP, Virtus Pro. They're always like, "Oh, you need fresh blood." You know, when you have the fresh blood, you know, it kind of like pumps everyone else up and everyone else kind of feeds off it. What if they actually are psychic vampires and they actually need to literally, because when you join a team and you get to the top level, you know, it's really scary. So you adrenalize the blood and then they actually do drink that guy's blood. And that's why the young players who join, you know...
What, they give them DMT and then...
Exactly, yeah. And then just have a feeding frenzy, sucking them
Digital
off.
blackface.
Why do you think Hobbit is...
You know, I often refer...
Why do you think Dossier got better? Exactly.
I often refer to Duncan as the Alex Jones of esports. I think that's it's accurate.
Listen, I just want to know when they're going to bring a demon, like lower realm entity through an AI and have it possess Simple. And I think I just cracked it. I know who Simple is. But anyway, so...
like a team that can challenge the top three. But you really need to be able to challenge these two guests that we have here if you want to call yourself a good team now. And Vogue just can't do that.
Can they do that, Jankos? Can inspired third best Polish jungler challenge you for the top spot in the jungle?
I mean, it's hard to say, right? I mean, I think that since all of them are very young, I mean, they still have like kind of young roster, except for Vander. He's like, I guess 1 year older than me, so that's pretty old. I'm an expert player now. I'm pretty old as well. I think that for me, the issue with Rogue is that I feel like all of them are like lack talent in a way. I mean, they are all like talented enough as like individuals, like mechanics wise, but I just think they don't actually know how to play. And I think that I think that it takes them a lot of time to figure it out. And I think their coaching staff is probably really useless as well, and they have no clue as well. So like, I mean, because that is my conclusion from watching them last year and this year. They didn't change much.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, you have to understand, like, it makes perfect sense. Like, obviously, Jankos thinks Nuke Duck was pretty overrated, let's say, like, 2014, 2015. Really, just a really overrated player. Like, you know, couldn't do shit. Even if you give him the best jungler, can't get anything done. He just sits in his lane like a coward under his tower, farming millions, you know, like other mid lanes we won't name. And then now though, pretty good player now though. Like now, for a start, if he doesn't have a jungle and support, he's still pretty good. So he's the one mid laner. By the way, everyone in the LCS, listen up, you can do this as well. If your team's just complete trash and your jungle and support do nothing, just get really strong as the strongest champion in the game and go to the side lane on your own and just farm all the minions. You get all those items you need. It's awesome. You don't even need that stupid jungler. Just go to the side lane. I know you're going to think, but no one else in NA does it. It doesn't matter. No one will be there when you go there. They'll all just look around mid. Now the problem is you will lose the game when your 4 players at mid just dive in and die 45. But you will have been right, is my point. Listen, be smart, be like Nuke Duck, stay safe. That's all I'm saying, kids. Nuke Duck should do like a mid laners, like, you know, one of those secure, like, safety videos that you get shown when you're in school, like, you know, don't cross the train tracks or whatever. Like, you know, he should do one of those for mid laners, how to stay safe. Now, here's the thing, we'll just do TL first, because, I mean, listen, it's obviously the big blockbuster one anyway, and as you pointed out correctly, for years and years now, TL always restocks with enormousness. names. The one thing you cannot dispute is they're amazing at signing big, marquee caliber names. I will just say, by the way, what I love about that, Rich, is Crumbs isn't even like a dedicated TSM hater. Like, if he comes on a show with me and Monty, look, when in Rome, you know, he'll have some fun like everyone else does. And obviously, spoiler to TSM fans, if you think it's just me and Monty who hate you, no, we're just vocal and tell you on a daily. We're like the good son that just
I'll throw a tomato
exactly.
at the show. You know?
But here's the problem. Crumbs. You've inadvertently actually just burned TSM harder than I ever would. Because you started out like, I don't even care about anything other than top 4. And I was thinking, top 4. And then he said, Team Liquid, Cloud9, EG, and TL. He did it. He literally took TSM, Rich, and put them so they don't. It's not that he doesn't like them. They don't even matter to him. They don't even exist in this premise. Except if that Bjergsen left to go to TL, basically. So, obviously, this is going to be an LCS-themed episode, but I'll just touch on that briefly, because I will just say this. Mainly, it's just one of those things where I just piss in fans' faces because they deserve it. That's all you fucking deserve. And if you don't like it, why are you here? I'm basically a fucking esports dominatrix.
Some people like this.
Exactly. Yeah, just take it, you little bitch. So, right, here's what I would say, and it goes like this. All those stupid comments people have made for the last 2 years about G2, like, oh, Carlos isn't trying to make the region strong. Well, what's he doing? He's just trying to make money off players. Like, those all apply to the other teams that came up, you fucking morons.
The Beatles said they get by with a little help from their friends, but I get by with a little help from my Patreon community. And this video was kindly supported by Matt Pugnatio Rajcula, Ahmed Hadjou, Bot Pounder 420, Tooorin, Animosity, Tobias Bernasconi, Jensen Goh, Tosh, and a special thanks always goes out to my main man, Jerky's Minion. Would you like to ask me a question in my monthly video AMA? Do you want teasers to find out who are the upcoming guests? Maybe you want to take part in one of those lengthy but intense esports discussions I have with my donators. Or maybe you want to suggest a guest or a topic that I could cover. Well, if any of those tickle your fancy, put your money where your mouth is and join the Skrilluminati today, where in the description box below there is a Patreon link.